tough couple of games last week. Just quickly recap last week's games.
Well, I mean, starting with the Buffalo game, I thought it was a game that, we struggled to guard them off the bounce, and they stretched it in the second half. And one of the things they do really well is they drive you downhill, and it really became problematic for us as we tried to defend them. And, of course, that causes rotations, and they were able to break us down on the backside. With being able to get offensive rebounding opportunities and to keep balls alive. And then in the Akron game, I mean, they just, from an offensive standpoint, their ability to space and shoot balls. I mean, some of those balls they were shooting, I was watching on tape, were, wow, deep and extremely deep. And they were knocking them in, and it's one of the things about Akron. They play they've got it inside. They've got great size inside. They also have really good size on the perimeter and ability to shoot the ball. And they just, they just shot lights out. And from an offensive standpoint, it was just a barrage, and we couldn't keep up. And they were in the groove. And like I said, some of the shots they were hitting were big time shots. They really were.
Back home this week for a couple games, been on the road for 4 of our first 6, but back in Millett Hall, Central Michigan on Tuesday evening, Northern Illinois on Saturday afternoon. A couple special recognitions going on this week. Tuesday night's game, Military Appreciation, and then for the week, the annual Coaches versus Cancer Suits and Sneakers. Talk about the importance of those 2 events this week.
Well, we're going to obviously try to take care of both of those here this week. It's funny how they fell together, but we will do the Coaches versus Cancer both games, so we'll do the sneakers both games. But the game Tuesday, particularly Military Appreciation, that's special. I think we all value our freedoms and walking around and being able to do what you want to do, and sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, many times we take that for granted. And so for what the men and women do to serve our country, they don't ever ask for anything. They just do it. And quite frankly, it's the ultimate sacrifice. They put their lives on the line. And so to be able to honor them in it's a very small token or small gesture, I should say. We're excited about that. I don't know, heck, at least I've been affected from the standpoint that there are a lot of people in my family that have served in the military or are serving. I would venture to say that can be said for every young man on our team, and so we won't be able to do it justly per se, just because it's just one game. But certainly every day when I wake up, and just to be able to get up and walk out of my house and not be worried about anything goes a long way towards those men and women, and we thank them for that. And then the Coaches versus Cancer obviously is something that we're involved with, and so we'll be doing the sneakers, and in many ways we had our tournament earlier, which had a cancer theme also, and so this will be the second time for us. This year it just so happens that both games are at home, and so we'll do it for both games. And then the game on Saturday, I think we'll do it, but I think we'll even have some special color shoelaces in our shoes also, that obviously there's different colors for all the various cancers and everything else, so we'll be doing that too.
Previewing this week, Chippewa is in on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Huskies in on Saturday at 3:30. Preview those 2 opponents for us.
Well, I mean, starting with Central, a team obviously that had a terrific year last year, and coming into this year, picked to finish in the top of the league again. Battled some injuries early with Fowler being out and coming back from that, but seem to really be coming along now and finding their groove. They're a team that, once again, they're going to shoot the ball extremely well, and then they have some young men that can really put it on the deck and drive the ball. And so in many ways they are similar in some ways to Akron, from the perspective of being able to space you and shoot the basketball. But Fowler's terrific. He can really get downhill on you and finish, strong body. But it's just not him. I mean, they're good. and they know how to play, and I think now they're starting to play much better, as I mentioned earlier. So you really have to make an adjustment, because they definitely have a style and how they want to play it, and so you've got to try to do the job of defending the three, and then you've got to try to figure out how you can keep their guards in front of you when they go to drive into basketball. Taking a look at Northern, I think Mark's done a terrific job. Would have to be candidate for Coach of the Year at this point during the season. But, it's a team that, it's funny. I think they just have sort of found their way. If you take a look at them and what they've done and their early season schedule, and, there was some talk about that their early season schedule wasn't strong enough and things like that. But what it really did for them is, I think, they learned how to win, and they got confidence from that. And, as they've gotten into the season here in the conference play, they always do a good job of defending you. They bring a physicality to the game. They're well coached. Baker and Mark, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Baker, their guard, and then Mark, their big kid, have really played well and have stepped up. I happened to catch their game the other night when we were on the road against Toledo, and they played, with a sense of urgency, and you have to earn everything you get from them, and so there's a toughness about them, and now they have confidence, and we always say, that's what basketball is. It's a game of confidence or not having it. It's a fine line, and that's how they're playing, and happy for Mark and his staff, and what they've been able to do. He's a good person, and to be able to get to this point and get it turned, I'm certainly sure that he's happy with that group. But, one of the things I noticed watching them play, I think those kids have bought into each other, and they're playing the game together, which, of course, there's power in numbers. And so, I don't know how good they are. I know they're really good, and that they're playing the game the right way. So they're better for it.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this week.
Thanks, Ange.